Welcome to FirstOffTheBike.com's TriCafe, proudly presented by Team Degani Cycling Cafe. This is episode 2. Here we are again, beautiful Botanica Cafe down here in Richmond. Got Dan Hoy from the Herald Sun and also Mitch Anderson, local pro and raconteur, who's coming in to join us. And guys, we got some good feedback from the first show. They loved you, Dan. Obviously, you set.
They did. Heaps of people loved me.
Obviously, you
One great fan.
Tongues wagging.
Find out who he is.
Yeah, well,
where he lives.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's just get straight into it again. Twitter and triathlon has been one of the topics that's been coming up on and on again. You either love it or hate it. Mitch, you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan of Twitter or Stalkerbook. Cut them.
I think it's great. I think it offers a lot. I think it gives you, as a journalist, an insight into what the pros are doing. It lets you know if they're training hard or not.
It ain't journalism, okay? It's not journalism. Looking online, getting a story, it's pretend journalism. Dan would never do that because Dan would actually call someone up, try and get a scoop that no one else could get. Isn't that right?
Or at least confirm what they've written on Twitter.
Oh, but everyone else has got the story then. What's the point?
But I got a great story from a live blog about this Victorian triathlete who had crashed on his bike. So I rang him, confirmed the story. We had a chat. It was on his blog.
It's different.
What's the difference?
Hey, what do you do, write for the Herald Sun or something?
It's simple. It's a simple thing, though. You Google anything, you might be able to get that information, whether it's coming in live or not. It makes no difference, surely.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is that it ain't a scoop because everyone's looking on Twitter now. If there's 2 million people following Lance, 2 million people know it before you know it, or you've published it. So what's the point in republishing it?
Fair point, but still, as leading up to the big races, you're certainly going to get an idea about how they're going training-wise, or do you think people are just putting in fake and false information?
Well, people are talking about the quality of their stools and all sorts of minutiae that we really don't care about. It's inane. Get rid of it.
From the journo's point of view, you must love it, though.
Oh, you get a good insight into the way people are training, as Mitch doesn't believe that it's true, but I mean, it gives you, when you're having a conversation with someone, you should feel like you know them a bit better if you follow their Twitter account.
Okay.
It's not going to be one over here, I think, but certainly it's something that we're going to keep a track of, and the big athletes who use it, well, I think it certainly gives us a little bit more of an insight into how long they do take a nap for in the afternoon.
Or how well formed their stools are.
Yeah, we're going to move on from that. Geelong 70.3 is one of the big dancers here in Australia. It's certainly one of the WTC races that has made its way down south. We're loving to see it here in Geelong.
10,000 US up for grabs.
It's a small prize packet, that's right. Now, you're out. You're done.
I'm done.
Another Mitch Anderson pull-out.
That's a bit harsh. I have a little twinge of my left adductor magnus, the hamstring portion. I had an ultrasound on Friday, won't be there, but there's a whole host of other pros who are going to be there.
They're Australian pros, though. I mean, Dan, do we need to get big-name pros in from the States to make these races actually worth something?
No, not if you want to get mainstream coverage. If you want mainstream coverage, you get Crowe. They've got Crowe. That's all they need.
And they would have been shooting for that, obviously, he being the marquee athlete, not only of just this event, but of the country. But how much credibility would it be, say Chris Lieto comes out, or we get Michael Lovato, one of these big, strong bikers who comes out?
If you get sort of Lieto out, the triathlon people will love it, but you're not going to get any more mainstream media coverage.
We don't.
Nobody cares who he is. Nobody
for
knows who he is.
10,000 US, they're not going to come from overseas. I don't know what they're paying Crowe. I would say it's about that much. And so that means we miss out on paying Pete Jacobs, Chris McCormack. We miss on those other top 10 Hawaii finishers that we could potentially get. So it's a double-edged sword getting Crowe to come and race because he takes the pay packet that other athletes would actually come for.
Do you reckon that puts people off seeing his name on the start list?
No.
Not at all?
No, people want to test themselves against him.
Fair enough, but he's certainly someone who is going to make the event a little bit more exciting, I think, having seen the current world champion down there and flying around.
Yeah, that's fine.
Agreed.
Well, we'll get 3 agreements here. This is great. That's not bad. Coming up after the break, we'll continue with FirstOffTheBike.com's TriCafe.
The Team Degani Cycling Cafe will be opening at the end of February at the Docklands for all your triathlon and cycling needs.
Welcome back to FirstOffTheBike.com's TriCafe, proudly presented by Team Degani Cycling Cafe. Big news of the week also this one was Trek and K-Swiss got together, merged the tribes, got a team going. We've seen this happen before, Mitch. Are you a fan of the team concept?
Look, all it is great PR. There's no such thing as team racing in triathlon. Maybe a bit of racing creeping in. But it actually caused an implosion in the bike boutique team because the sponsors are enforced on the athletes so that you can't have any individual sponsorships. And look, I don't think there's enough money to sustain professional teams in triathlon. We had the previous team fall apart from the Middle East,
Try to buy.
Yep. And it just simply was, there was a huge amount of money, then it folded quite quickly.
And that's what it all comes down to. You need the dollars in order to be able to sustain it, because who's to say when Chrissy Wellington started winning world titles and then people started jumping on her sponsorship wise and saying come on over, and she needed to do what was right commercially.
Yeah, exactly. I can see it's commercially right for Trek and K-Swiss. They're going to get some fantastic coverage out of it. But as an athlete, it's like an individual sport. So how much, of a team feeling are you going to get? It'd be like Team Nike with Federer and Nadal.
Well, look, I know that Pete Jacobs has just signed with Team Abu Dhabi, and for a bloke like Pete, it's fantastic because it makes the rest of his life pretty easy. It smooths the way. Someone else has to manage all the sponsors, and that's great for Pete. But for the bigger names, like Lieto, that guy attracts big name sponsors. So, in the long run, I'm not sure if it actually is a good thing or not.
Are we talking big dollars too? Every time you see a name on someone's shirt, it's costing money, and the more of them you can get on, the better off your life is going to be post career. Because let's face it, it's not the big tennis, golf, world sport game that we want. I mean, the triathlete pro has to struggle.
The subtext, the sub question is: so we've got Chris Lieto and Matt Lieto. Is actually Matt Lieto going to earn his pro license or get to Hawaii this year? I think there's a lot of interest in the pro license. We'll obviously have to discuss it another time, though.
Certainly, it has been some cause for debate. The other thing that's popped up too is the Abu Dhabi Triathlon, which has been run in March, and it's got a 50k prize purse. There's a lot of money up for grabs, but the distances
230k prize purse, 250k prize purse.
It's 50 for first.
50 for first.
Yeah, 50 for first, 20 for age groupers. $1,000 on the nose if you win your age category.
But the distances are absolutely nuts. 220 for the big dance, and then 1.5, 110 for those who want to do the half. I mean, can you just make up distances like that?
Its distance is not nuts. It's just different. Doesn't it make it crazy if it's different?
Well, no, but it means that
you want a distance that in triathlon that's going to, if you are good across all three, like if you're a good swim, bike, runner, if you're a good runner, it's, are you actually going to be in a position where you can win it?
Of course not. You're going to be sitting there unless you've got this, you've got the bike sorted out. I mean, the swim bikers are going to have an absolute field day on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the swim bikers. Jordan Rapp's going to be there. We've got Faris Al Sultan. We've got Bockel. We've got Henning. There's some fantastic swim bikers. All they're going to do is get out of the water together, pace around the course together for 200k, and then have a sprint off the bike.
And are you going?
No, of course I'm not going, because I'm not going to be in the pack at the 3k mark of the swim. So I'm going to be 2 minutes down, and that would mean that I would follow them around 2 minutes behind for 200k's, and then they go like that off the bike.
Certainly has set the tongues wagging, the Abu Dhabi Triathlon. It's I don't think we're going to get much of a resolution here today, other than to say that you're either going to be involved and love it, or you're going to sit there and just think this is not for me, and you have that option, of course, but it certainly is a discriminator.
But look, before you move on, there's some it's a crackerjack field for the females as well. We've got Yvonne van Vlerken, Julie Dibdens, we've got Sam McGlone, Teresa Mazel, who was fourth in Hawaii. It's actually the big money has caused some big athletes to go there, and because the run's so short, they can actually get out and race 2 weeks later.
Will the Australian sports media be covering this race?
I wouldn't think so. Mainstream, I wouldn't think so.
Oh, but it'll be on Twitter.
What if you had a big name sponsor said to you, Mitch, we're going to pick you up, you've got to get on Twitter though? What would you do?
Oh, I'd sell my soul.
If anyone who's out there watching who wants to sponsor Mitch Anderson for more than $500, he might be keen to get on Twitter. That's all we have time for today on this episode of TriCafe. We're going to be doing this after Geelong, where we take a full look at who did what down in the big dance in the Paris by the Sea. Thanks a lot for joining us, and feel free to throw us any of your suggestions as we go forward.
You stay classy, Degani.